So negative day on the markets today overall. Resources continue to fall back. How much lower is the resources sector going to go? Looking into that crystal ball, which I know you brought with you.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, the S&P opened up pretty flat today. Like you said, still looking for some direction. I guess we're just playing catch up on the close of yesterday. I guess it's everything that has exposure to China. That's the common theme with the stocks that are really underperforming at the moment. And of course, there's vital numbers coming out on Friday. A lot of people saying that the retail numbers are really key to see exactly what's happening in that economy. And it's very clear that there has been a speed bump, but there is a lot of room for stimulation in terms of the policymakers, and we're seeing them being, very reactive in terms of that, and hopefully acting, in time. So we're going to have to wait and see on Friday.
But as you say, they do have room to maneuver in that market right now, which is, of course, a positive for China. Let's take a look at the luxury goods space today, because just taking a look at London's markets, Burberry's stock was down 8.3% when I last looked after their quarterly earnings report. Revenue coming in lower than expected. Your thoughts on that and the implications it's had on the luxury goods space today?
Yes, I think their forward-looking statement was what investors took the most seriously, and that looked fairly cautious in terms of, again, the demand in China. And it's in China where these luxury goods companies have really made most of their money, or most of the growth has come from. From a South African perspective, we obviously have Richemont listed on the JSE, and it's been one of the darlings of the market for the last 3-4 years, where they were trading at 16 Rand just after they unbundled the tobacco stake. So that's very relevant for us. We big shareholders of Richemont, and we've watched it come back from 50 Rand now to about
42 Rand, 45 is where it closed today.
So we see it as a good buying opportunity, because, to be honest, these luxury goods companies have shown great resilience, and I still think there's a lot of growth to come, looking forward in the long term. It is something you're going to have to be patient with, so you need to take advantage of these pullbacks. These stocks historically have looked very expensive and have always outperformed in terms of earnings. For the first time in a while, now the earnings have caught up with the share prices, and Richemont is trading on a forward PE of around 12, which is, look extremely cheap from a historical basis. So we're seeing this as a great buying opportunity.
Yeah, as you say, coming back from 50 Rand, and we were all saying, way too from here with the 50 Rand, and then all of a sudden it started reversing all those gains after that earnings report. They're putting a lot of money into China, though, and they're positioning themselves to take advantage of that market. So are we going to see for the next, for the shorter, medium term, a slowdown in sales there? Or, are we able to actually ascertain the kind of demand that's going to come through right now from China?
Well, Nike came out with results a couple of weeks ago, and they showed slowing demand in China, and that is obviously that aspirational consumerism theme. So I would suspect that over the next few quarters we will actually see a slowdown. Retail sales, though, are expected to come in about 13% increase when those numbers come in on Friday, which is, still massive, and it's still coming off a higher and higher base each time. So we think long-term sustainable growth is going to come from the Chinese consumer, being liberalized and going out and buying goods and advertising to each other. These goods are fantastic and they are great to consume, the likes of McDonald's, Nike, Apple products.
Like McDonald's certainly doesn't fit into the luxury goods space, but I hear what you're saying. Let's take a look at the US earnings season right now. I think it was Goldcorp, which is the latest company. They came out and cut their full year guidance. That stock was down 8% as a result of that. Mining company, they're looking at production falling back. And then just another company that's come out and cut guidance going forward. What's your thoughts on the companies that have come out so far with earnings?
Yeah, there have been some cuts, guidance cuts before the results obviously come out, because we have seen a slowdown in growth globally. I think the earnings season is extremely important. I often say that I'd much rather listen to what Caterpillar or Alcoa have to say about the economy than some 75-year-old professor who sits in his office in Harvard all day and doesn't actually get out there. So it's great to see what the companies are actually doing on the ground floor and how they see demand and how they negotiating.
What is your sense? We've got to wrap this up. So what is your sense as to how they are seeing demand?
Well, we're going to have to wait and see. You know, there's still a lot of companies to come out. We only just started 2 days ago when Alcoa released, and they showed that demand, you know, still look quite strong. That's the aluminium producers and, you know, tin cans, planes, cars, and so on. So they showed that demand is still looking strong over the long term, and as long-term investors, we're happy with that.
We've got some breaking news that's just come through. I'm just going to open it up, but it's basically saying that the Iranian minister has been suspended as a result of the allegations around MTN and the bribe taking in Iran. And of course, this is going to up the ante with the Turkcell allegations in the United States right now. So I wonder how this is going to play out for the stock price tomorrow, because just taking a look, MTN 144 Rand, 80, 145 Rand right now, has been a stock that has been in recovery mode, obviously falling back today. What are your thoughts on the latest news?
Well, I think when you compare MTN to Vodacom and, you know, if you have a look at the relevant valuations, MTN still looks a lot cheaper than, you know, the rest of the market. So I think most of that negativity is factored in. The fact that, you know, they operate in countries like Iran. And it's not just, you know, these allegations, it's the risk of sanctions and so on. But, you know, yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see how the market takes that tomorrow. But I still don't think that, you know, the Turkcell or the USA has the ability to see that case. And I think that's going to fall through. I don't think Turkcell have gone about things the right way.
Where they're basically the jurisdiction in which they filed the case. So just clarifying that South Africa's foreign minister suspended former ambassador from South Africa to Tehran, who allegedly took this $200,000 bribe. So of course,
but that's not new news. You know, he's been under the spotlight for a while.
Yeah, but clearly, you know, he's been suspended. So we'll wonder if there'll be any reaction from the share price tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us today, Byron Lotter, portfolio manager at Vestact.